let's get into the reason for the season why y'all are here, man. Oh yeah, I gotta share the story that we're gonna look at. I should probably, you see what I'm saying? Like I'm doing my best, y'all. I really am. All right, so here we go. Ooh, let me close Slack because work is gonna try and DM me this whole time, and I don't need that. There's rumor right now that Superman has made a huge change. How do we? That's really small. Hold on. There's got to be another one here. No, no, that's fine. You could hide your face there. Okay, so there's a rumor that Superman's made huge changes following test screenings, and James Gunn is apparently clashing with HBO execs. This is Josh Wilding, a comic book movie. It's easy to forget that test screenings aren't necessarily an indication of a movie's quality. They frequently feature unfinished effects, and the feedback from test audiences is used to improve an upcoming blockbuster. Still, a lot can be gleaned from these screenings, and in the case of Superman, we've been hearing mixed things for a while. That might be for clicks and social interactions, of course, but may explain recent reports about a second composer working on the movie. There's also been chatter online about big changes being made in the editing room. Talking on the hot mic, insider Jeff Schneider, trying to do my best Christian impression, said that it sounded like DC Studios is playing it a little safe with Superman, revealing that he's heard the movie originally had the action playing out over each day of the week in an episodic structure. Other recent reports have alluded to this, and it's not working, so scrapping the concept might be best. Still, Gunn deserves credit for attempting something different. Then again, when so much hinges on Superman, playing it safe and delivering a four-quadrant blockbuster that helps redeem the DC brand is undoubtedly best for business. Other updates were few and far between. Though Snyder and co-host John Roca did speculate that the Batman star Colin Farrell could be a contender for Brainiac after potentially missing out on Sergeant Rock following its delay. The most interesting tidbit came when Snyder said he'd heard that HBO is blocking Gunn's ideas for TV shows. The cable network is used to operating with a certain level of autonomy and seemingly hasn't responded well to having a state of DCU projects like Lanterns, Waller, and Booster Gold forced on it. This possibly goes some way in explaining why Peacemaker is set to remain a Max original series heading into season 2, as we'd previously heard that all DCU TV shows were HBO bound. The cable network is typically associated with prestige fare and was hands-on with Watchmen, and to a lesser extent, The Penguin. Hardly a surprise that HBO has concerns about diluting its brand with superhero fare, meaning HBO Max seems like the most likely destination for the DCU. Stay tuned for more. Okay. Obviously, Coy, talk about as much as you can. We don't want to, I don't know how much of this you know or anything like that, but whatever you feel comfortable. But you hear this, and let's talk about first the potential switching up. So it sounded like there was a days of the week sort of thing going on, and then now it is not that. It sounds like it's just going to be kind of cut and dry. Does that sound like a good thing to you? Would you have liked to see the creativity yourself? Where do you stand on all that?
I mean, I think it is something I haven't heard before. So like the grain of salt that I have is that I can say that I don't know about anything being changed from test screenings personally. That I can say. I can also say that it is something that sounds like a cool idea that I'm curious of. Like, I don't know, the experience of audiences, and I don't know how much you weigh on, broad strokes versus like specificity. Like, changing artistic vision for people's opinion is tricky because it is someone's vision to put something out, but it is also show business. So it is, how that's received is important. But at the same time, I just, for my own sake, I do want to say, like, we've heard so much about these test screenings that has been so unsubstantiated so far that I don't know. Like, I don't know how true this could be, because it is one of those things that's like, yeah, this sounds like a thing that could or could not have happened. So I will say my response to this news is I miss news. There's never been more superhero stuff, and I don't know why everything is like, let's talk about rumors. Let's talk about I feel like everything is like the rumor is, and it's like, yeah, but what about the casting things that have happened? What about the actual box office of Thunderbolts? What about the actual I miss the internet was a mistake. I miss news.
I told you guys I've been really focusing on health. I've been trying to make sure that I'm eating the right stuff. And Factor has made that very simple for me. You got to make it your best season yet with nutritious 2-minute meals from Factor, because eating well has never been this easy. You just heat up, you enjoy, giving you more time to do what you want. Get outside instead of prepping and cooking indoors. Factor meals arrive fresh and they're ready to eat. They're perfect for any active lifestyle. Factor powers your day with satisfying breakfast, on-the-go lunches, premium dinners, and guilt-free snacks and desserts. It is easy to savor more this spring. Factor meals pack in the flavor with none of the fuss. I have been loving what Factor has been providing to me. Like I told you, I have my live show. I go to the gym. I come back. I have something great. They have protein meals. They have a lot of different things. It just goes right to the style that you're looking for. Because if you want to get healthy stuff on the go, feeling good, you get Factor. And you can get started at factormeals.com/Christian50off and use that code Christian50off to get 50% off plus free shipping on your first box. That's code Christian50off at factormeals.com/Christian50off for 50% off plus free shipping.
Yeah, I mean, the internet was a mistake. Yeah, I look, even though we make our money on it, I agree. I a lot of times I wake up
cost,
thinking
Winston? That. At what cost?
I wake up thinking that a lot. I'm gonna be really real with you. And the funny thing is it's just it's from the standpoint of the internet has got to this place where people get bored if you don't give them something new. It is a continuous dance monkey dance. Like it's those fucking high schoolers. Sorry, kids show. I'll be the only one. That back in the day would go to Cold Stone with a whole bunch of pennies and would just keep dropping a fucking. That's the last one. Would keep dropping a penny in and make them just sing over and over and over and over and over again. And a lot of times that feels like what we're doing now with the whole internet movie sphere, and not just the movie sphere, just with like the news cycles. It's like what's next, go. Yeah. And we can't sit on anything for a while, be patient for anything. We gotta and so yeah, I mean, I still stand
a month, and I feel like it's been a year of people saying that there's been test screenings and that test screenings were amazing or they were awful or blah blah, and it's all it's out in a month. We could talk about things that are actually provable.
Yeah.
And what sucks is I know me saying that is just gonna be people yeah, because of DC Studios, but the problem is I want to be excited about something for Marvel's sake, for DC's sake, for Image's sake. I don't want to hear about test screenings for Fantastic Four either, and that has nothing to do with me. And so it's just a silly cycle of the internet was a mistake.
No, I get it, man. I mean, because the funny thing is, at the end of the day, this was all going to be happening regardless, but we weren't used to watching the sausage get made like that. So there's a certain
ruins the movie experience.
Yeah. Truthfully, because then you kind of go in with a little bit of tainted mentality. I'd be so interested to see how many different changes. Sinners, for example, is the movie of this year so far. I'd be so curious to see how many times major things changed for Sinners. They ran into problems on set. They ran into problems on post. They ran into problems with the producers or the studio or whatever. And yet it came out a masterpiece. So I there's a certain level of just let the cooks cook, man. You know what I'm saying?
Downey Jr. not only improvised most of Iron Man 1, but then from Iron Man 1 all the way to Endgame, they added the Endgame snap and I Am Iron Man weeks out from the film being released. Right. It wasn't the original ending. Imagine if we were in the culture we are now, 5 years later from Endgame, going
Bro.
Avengers Endgame isn't over. Downey Jr. made something to rip for release. You'd be thinking that the whole movie.
Literally, the rumor would be Robert Downey Jr. hates previous ending, comes up with his own, and then it's rumor on set.
Weeks out, reshoots immediate, or trouble on set, actors making up lines, or we see the movie, what about that? Because now I can tell you right now, honestly, I have not seen the complete Superman movie. I've not seen Superman. Now there's going to be a part of my brain, consciously or subconsciously, it's I wonder if, and that's not fun. That's not a movie. That's I don't know, man.
Yeah. No, and all that
to be unfiltered.
Yeah, no, all that being said, is to that fact that, like, look, again, it's part of what we do for a living is to kind of talk about this kind of stuff. It is what it is, and it seems weird for us to be like, wow, I hate it so much. But like, there's a level of it can be hard to then enjoy the movies when we see so much of behind the scenes. uh but we want to know what you think. Let us know in the comments if you agree with that one way or the other. And then the other major part of this story that we were talking about here, so this idea that HBO is really pushing back on allowing Gunn to put stuff on there and keeping stuff as max content. What do you think about it when you hear all of that, man? Because I'll be honest with you, I love all this stuff. I'm kind of inclined to agree, especially knowing that HBO really shot themselves, or Warner shot themselves in the foot with the HBO branding. And I think that there is a level of, unless you are talking about a Penguin or why, you would hope all of these shows are that level of good. But the idea of having some like 6, 7, 8, 9 superhero shows on HBO seems off to me personally. But what do you think, Ben?
I mean, I think that it is a matter of quality of anything. I think that no matter what, a network should acquire things that they want to be part of their brand. So I'm of the mind that, when it's done, then you have a process of where it goes. Like, I think there are other things though, where like, if you're developing a show for a network, that's different. So like if say, one of these shows is being developed to be on HBO, that's the conversation. I don't know if anything is default. I don't know the lawyer side of things. I don't know the production side of things, but I would assume when you're making something, the conversation comes up in during production and in post-production. So I don't know how substantial these rumors are either. And I honestly, like, speaking to what you just said about like this being part of the job, I think our job also being about like giving our opinion is to say that seeing how the sausage is made ruins the eating experience. So like, even though our job is to discuss it, I consider the job to be discussed, like discussing pre-production and casting, discussing, what's happening on set that they've officially released, discussing what the finished product is and the impact on the culture. Like, all of those things is the discussion. If the news becomes, these are the rumors, I think it's our job to say our opinion on rumors is bollocks. So like, I think that we shouldn't know, in my opinion, how much is behind the scenes about Disney and Disney Plus and Miramax. And like, if these details and minutia people are interested in, they could read the trades. But like, is the average viewer curious about negotiations between HBO and Warner Brothers, between Disney Plus and Disney? Like, is that as exciting as Jocasta being cast? Is that as exciting as, being curious about Thunderbolts underperforming by like 100 million, what that means for the culture of people attending these movies? Like, to me, the conversation becomes like, we need to discuss whether or not it should be news. I think our job as newsmen of the internet is to decide whether or not we should discuss that as news.
Newsmen of the internet. That's hilarious. That is definitely not a way that I've referred to myself, but I will start to from now on. Yes,
we need shirts. Newsman of the internet.
I'm a newsman of the internet. But yeah, man, we want to know what y'all think. I actually thought that this was kind of an interesting point. MK Songbird says, it's insane to see that the minutia of filmmaking has become what is dominating film discussion. Also allows for bad faith grifters to set their narrative months before a movie's release through rage bait. I kind of agree with that too, knowing that is the main grift, is to hate, like to pretend like this the player haters ball and you just going off on everybody. It does unfortunately open a door.
Sorry, I totally interrupted you. My bad.
You're good. I just said it definitely opens a door.
Yeah, I was going to change it off your first sentence there. I think the issue becomes like, these are two stories, right? One story is this theoretical edit because of fan reactions. And the second story is this theoretical HBO blocking certain things. In both of those stories, the good that can come out of the first one is they're invested in the fans' perspective, but all of the negative is way more of an active fuel for clicks. And the good that can come out of the second one is HBO wants to preserve HBO, but then all the negative is the implication that stuff isn't worthy of that. So all of these rumors are framed in such a way, like the internet is, like conversations and clickbait is to frame them mostly negatively. So that becomes the discourse. So I just think that's why the minutia feels so negative, is because it's framed negatively. And I think a lot of times knowing how things are done, we're not meant to see below the iceberg. We're meant to see the art. So I like to talk about the art.
No, I am right there with you, man. I also prefer to see the art, and Lord knows